Hello, colleagues. I am Isis Fernandez. I'm assistant professor of English at Lone Star College, Kingwood, and I am doing this quick video to show you essentially how to put together your online course. I know for some of you, this is the first time. You're very, very panicky. You're like, what's going on? For some of you, you're like, probably much like me, and saying, this is the reason why administrations wants us to do this, and conspiracy theories. Um, I had those same thoughts when I first started, by the way. So I don't know if you happen to have seen a blog post that I wrote that was about how to teach online, and I gave you some quick thoughts, actually long thoughts, and some things to keep in mind while you're doing this. And I think one thing that's really useful and was useful to me is to see how all these things kind of work together. Um, what I don't want to do is bombard you with a bunch of stuff. You really want to, especially with if you're teaching online because of COVID this semester, you want to keep it simple because just like you have a learning curve for this, so will your students. And so if you are happen to be doing this because of COVID, my biggest um, advice to give you is to keep it as simple as possible and don't start playing with a bunch of toys until you are ready. Again, I don't know what everyone is doing. I know some classes are going to be online until about April. Some may be online until the end of the semester. Um, some of you may actually be teaching online and want to know more things. So I'm going to kind of show you kind of what I do. I know that other professors do something different. No, there's not one way to teach online. There are several ways to teach online and some ways to engage your students online. So what I am going to say is listen to as many as you can, and kind of put together what you like, what you don't like, what you think you're able to do, and then just dive in. Um, just a little background on me. Again, I'm a professor at Lone Star College, Kingwood. Our particular campus had many millions upon millions of dollars of damage because of Hurricane Harvey, and specifically, we had toxic water on our campus. So it wasn't just flood water. Flood water would have been easy. We had toxic water because the water that came on our campus actually combined with the sewage plant, our sewage water treatment plant upstream. And so we had toxic water. Our campus was shut down close to about 2 years. We came back in phases. And during most of that time, we teach online. We taught online. I currently still teach online. I teach one section online, and then I teach face to face. And even with my face to face classes, based on what I learned during that semester, I teach some components online, making them as close to hybrid as I possibly can. I teach composition and rhetoric, but I also teach creative writing, and I teach creative writing through creative writing organizations here in Houston. So I've taught online for creative writing as well. So I can show you some of this stuff. Hopefully this will translate, maybe get some gears going, get things happening. So how I'm recording is I'm using Screencast-O-Matic. I actually really like it. Your learning management system for your college or university may have something similar. Again, I would use all the bells and whistles that your learning management system has to offer so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And you really don't want to reinvent the wheel because students are going to be really confused. All right. And especially these students are not online students, and that's different. An online student has the headspace, I am going to do this online, versus a student who paid for a face-to-face class and all of a sudden is online, is already not in that headspace. So again, use everything that your learning management system has to offer. So I'm using Screencast-O-Matic. I actually paid for the 3 year, which was only $30. And at that point, when I paid for this, was at the beginning of our 100% online experiment slash necessity for our campus. So for me, it's a really great investment. I actually use this for my creative writing classes when I'm teaching them about craft. So this is actually paid itself back to me already. How I am using a microphone is really, this is a $10 headphone or earbuds, sorry, with a microphone. These are from Skull Candy, which is happens to be one of my favorite brands, and it's really useful. I'm using this on a Mac, but you can actually use this combination also with a PC. So let's get started. What you see here behind me, is pretty much a couple of videos that I've done um, from Screencast-O-Matic. When you do the paying, when you pay for it, there's a free version. You can create videos that are 15 minutes long. You can create more than one video that's 15 minutes long. So if you don't want to pay for this full thing, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to do it. I only paid for it because I knew I would use it way beyond just teaching online. And I've used this for several things. And so I have a couple of videos here that helped. So this thing right here, how to create links on Google Doc and how to create shareable Google Docs, is what I use for my creative writing class. When we do feedback, we actually do a couple of things. I actually have them create a Google Doc or a Word doc, whatever is best, and we share comments on that, and then we actually use something like a Zoom or a WebEx or a Google Hangout to do the actual workshop. So if you have a class that does something like that, that's what you could use, preferably on that. And I also do some class tours here, and I'm going to show you a couple of those here in a minute. So what I have here is a sandbox. And so our particular campus uses D2L as our learning management system. Not that one learning management system is better than another. There are some things I think Canvas does that I'm just like, why can't D2L do it? And some things that Brightspace does, and I'm sure that another LMS wishes that it would be done. So I'm going to use the verbiage here from D2L, and I'll try to translate this to other learning management systems. So a sandbox for us is literally where you package the entire class, the entire online class, and you kind of put it there. So it's some people would call it a shell. For us, a shell is putting rough things on. This right here, a sandbox, has full assignments and dates that could be changed at any moment. So whenever I teach online, I literally take what's in the sandbox and dump it into the online class and change the dates and make sure that everything is pretty much works out. So this is my sandbox for my 6 week English comp and rec 1301 class. So the first English that you take as a college freshman. Um, I have all this plus all the announcements all together. I chose the 6 weeks class because this is probably pretty comparable to what you're probably going to have to do here for the next couple of weeks until the end. We are technically in when we come back from spring break, which is right now for us, we'll be in week 9. So you'll have a couple of weeks left. So that's why I chose this one, but I will show you what a full-fledged semester looks like as well, because I do things a little bit differently here. So usually when I do things, I actually look at the content. So if you are D2L or Brightspace, content is going to be the big thing for students. And I organize my classes through modules, and every module is a week long. And I do that because for me as a professor, it's easier to do that with grading. I know that they are done with discussion boards on that Sunday. So that Monday morning when I wake up and have my coffee and say hello to my family, check my email, do all the things, then I'm ready to grade, and I can grade their discussion boards on Monday. And so they have their information back pretty quickly. One big tip for this is that you want to be as communicative to your students as possible and use more than one modality for communication. You can use email, you can use the announcement section of your LMS. You can use the comments you do on their assignments. So that is very helpful. So before we even go into what the module looks like, what I do is literally have a start here. So you can see right here, it says start here, start here, start here. I have them go to the start here. And the start here has pretty much everything. It has um, kind of what I want them to do. So I establish things very early in class. I need you to read the news section. I need you to read the announcements. And for me, the announcements are very important, mostly because if you have Brightspace or D2L, if you have them download the app, every time you upload an assignment, it shows up as a text message on their phone. So whenever you do an announcement, they have it on their phone and they know, oh, my professor just sent something, I need to read it. It doesn't do that with email, which I think is really weird. I thought it did, but it doesn't. So Brightspace, maybe you can work that out. So yeah, so the news section here is important, and I have them tell that, and I also have them set up their semester. So the first thing I also have them connect the LMS learning management system to their personal email, to the email that they're going to use. If they're going to use the school email, then connect it to that. If they're not, they can use it to their personal email. And that happens because if I'm going to send them an email, knowing that my app for my learning management system doesn't um, doesn't pop up a notification when they have an email, um, but their Gmail does, or their Outlook does, or whatever email that they're doing on their phone. So I have them do that, and I kind of have a video that shows them how to do this. Um, And so this is something that I do for my students. I know that Brightspace probably has all these videos. So here's another tip. Go to the website or um, the YouTube channel for your learning management system or for your school's tech, and they may have a lot of these videos, so you don't have to replicate this. I replicated this after they already did this. So this is old. I may switch it to the new one, or I may not. It's kind of nice for students to see your face, by the way, which is why I have like a box here to explain things. I tell them how I want things formatted, and then I have a link. I use a book, an online book for my online class in the summertime. I also have links to the syllabus and also how to email your professor because I have a pet peeve. So syllabus is here, and I want to talk a little bit about this here. The syllabus is embedded in my learning management system. So there's not a link to a Word document. You can do a link to the Word document. Here is why I don't do that. For accessibility, it's easier for a student to be able to get the the audio or the reading part of my D2L class to be able to read something that's already embedded. So that helps with accessibility as well. This is also a best practice for Quality Matters. I'm Quality Matters certified, so what it is pretty much helping professors with their online courses, making sure that it aligns to the learning outcomes and to the best practices of teaching online. So this is what I have. There's live things on here, so it goes to different parts of the website. Fun stuff. Yay, syllabus. Okay. And then I have actual references um, where they can go to get library resources, which are all online, where they can go to the writing lab. Um, our writing lab is not online quite yet, but we do pay for a service to help our students with their writing. So you may want to ask that. And then rubrics. What rubrics they're going to use. I use rubrics for essay and discussion posts because it's really, really very easy to use. Um, and I love using rubrics because it's all there. I mean, everything I'm expecting you to do is all there. In addition, um, The rubric usually has, as you can see, score and feedback. So, I mean, if I don't want to give off 15 points, I can give 13 points. That's between 10 and 15. I can give 13 points and say why I gave it. So that's another way to communicate with your students. And you want to be able to communicate with them as often as possible. And those things, those natural ways of communicating is kind of what you want to look for. Um, I love this. This part I really love, because you're kind of faceless, on during online classes. You're pretty faceless, and it could be dead. And since you are, if you're doing if you're COVID campus, you are literally just pushing out curriculum. You're pushing out information, and so you're not going to get a chance. You may not get a chance to make it look pretty or put your own little stamp on it. You're really just, I need you to do this because we're running on this gravy train here. I would take the time to do a quick little video, and this is me. So you get the big deal here. I did this using Adobe Spark. It's very, very quick. You don't have to do anything but put up words and images and do a quick voiceover, and it's done. And that took me about 15 minutes. And then you get an embed code or code that you can embed it just like this, so you don't have to link out to things. And then the student knows who you are, so they know that you're there for them. Okay? Let's look at a module because I think that's what everybody wants to look at. Um, because this is a 6 week course, and I'm trying in it's not a COVID campus. I have 6 steps in this particular module. I would recommend doing fewer steps because you have students who are not did not sign up for online. They're not ready for 6 steps. They're probably ready for 4 and want to be done with their lives. Um, my students are online students, so they get all 6 steps. Okay, so this is what I have here. And again, you don't have to do this. I'm a little bit extra. I have an introduction and I tell them which which learning outcomes we're going to cover in this particular module. I do that because it's a best practice for quality matters. Again, you are COVID campus. Your goal is to push things out. So if you do not have this, I doubt anybody's going to check you on this. Um, if this helps you organize, then do that. So I have a video that kind of introduces the module. Yes, it's edited. Again, I'm a little extra. So it shows you. I tell them what they have to do for the module. I have checklists on in every module, and this is again contained. This is I literally just dumped this into the class. Boom. Um, my newer courses do not have any checklists. Um, I find checklists a little bit of a pain. And let me show you why. So let's click on this checklist here. All right, they're a little bit of a pain because of this due date, and you have to change the due date for every single thing. And so that's why don't I don't use it, or I take the due date completely off. So they know what the task is. So they have to do introductions. Um, they have to take your syllabus quiz. And so I have in the um, in the list what they have to do and links to what they have to do that's kind of embedded within the learning management system here. So let's go back. So the first essay I teach is the memoir essay in summertime because I love memoir. Um, and so they have, of course, these 6 steps. So they do an introduction. They're introducing each other to be, excuse me, they are introducing themselves to each other. Um, your students already know each other, so you may want to think up another thing. Maybe this is a good opportunity to take kind of the temperature in the room and saying what is maybe your biggest worry about doing an online class. That helps you kind of gauge where they are, and then if there's anything that they're worried about, what to look out for as you're designing the class. You can also ask um, crazy things if you're doing a creative writing if you're doing creative writing and maybe you're in memoir, maybe you're in nonfiction, maybe you're in fiction, maybe you're in that. Um, Tell them to make up a story using COVID. Um, and so everybody gets a chance to do something fun a little bit while you're planning out your class, while you're trying to get them to calm down. They again did not sign up for online, and so we're doing a bait and switch, and that's unfortunate, but this is kind of where we are right now. Um, yeah, pretty much. So this is a lesson. So this is the first lesson here, the memoir lesson. Let me go ahead and take you to that. I've done online lessons a couple of ways. I've done it with voiceover over PowerPoint, which is helpful. I've converted now most things to um, Screencast-O-Matic and put everything on YouTube. And the reason why is that YouTube is an app. I'm trying to make everything as simple as possible for my students. So, um, and I can show you this in another class where I've actually done it. When they look at the memoir essay on YouTube, in the lesson on YouTube, it's easier for them to actually go through the YouTube app and get it done rather than the learning management system. Because here's what's going to happen, guys. What's going to happen is, and let me X out of that. What's going to happen is that there's going to be 10,000 people on the learning management system, and there weren't 10,000 people on the learning management system before. So it's gonna break, it's gonna shut down, they're gonna do maintenance. And so you need to have different entry points for your students to be able to get to the course content. So it could be that you put it on YouTube. YouTube translates everything for you. It transcribes, I'm sorry, everything for you. But here's the catch with YouTube. There are some words it's gonna write that's different than what you say. What's wonderful about that is that you can go into your YouTube creator and fix those words. So you don't have to type up a whole transcript. You can actually fix it, fix what you need to fix. And so a student who is needing that, and students actually, even students who are or do not need accessible lessons actually like to put on the closed captions and look at things. So they're listening and they're reading at the same time and they're getting that information um, two different ways. And somehow it sticks for some reason. Somebody please link me to some research on that because I would like to read that. Um, so that works. And I've done it again, PowerPoint, and I've done it with doing it just like this with YouTube. In addition to that, I also have them to do readings, have them to do readings. Hello, English professor. Have them do readings and have them do dun 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 dun, um, discussion boards. Discussion boards are going to be the bread and butter. They're just are. And you can use them a couple of different ways. In the blog post that I shared, you could use something like a Padlet. You can use something like Flipgrid, which are different ways of doing it. But again, your goal is to create this and push it out. Don't play with toys until you're ready. But so I'm going to show you kind of very basic um, a basic discussion post. So in my discussion post, in the instructions, I literally have the link to what I want them to read. Again, my online 1301 summertime class, everything is online, including their book. They have to buy nothing. Everything is 100% online. And so I give them what I want them to read. And then I tell them what I want them to do. I want them to respond to two student discussions. Their actual post have to be at least 25 words and should be written in paragraph form. Um, and their responses should continue the conversation and add new information and should be at least 5 sentences. And I say specifically what I don't want. Anything along the lines of "I like what you just said" or "I agree." That's not a post, and they already know that is not what I'm looking for. I also attach the rubric here so they know what I'm looking for specifically and how I'm going to be grading them. And then I give them specific questions, especially at the beginning. Towards the end, I make these questions a little bit more critical thinking. Bloom's taxonomy, there you go. And they enjoy this. I also warned them here. In my other courses, this is actually in red, so I'll be probably fixing this here. The highest grade that you can receive if you don't answer everybody else is 44 out of 100. So I let them know very quickly that it is important and imperative that they have to talk to other people. Oh my God, I have to talk to people. Yeah. And then I love this part here, what they should be working on for next week so that they know that next week I'm going to talk about this memoir essay assignment that you're going to have to do. And I give them the assignment sheet. And I give them information. This is how you do things in Google Docs. This is how you do things in Words. This is the essay rubric for the assignment. This is what I'm looking for. I try to make information kind of compact. I don't know if you can see this. Like these paragraphs are tiny. There's a paragraph that's a sentence long. And then I do like subs, like this is the link. This is when it's due. This is what not to do. And I have everything in lists. Um, so that way they can take in information in bite size. Um, Bite size is great. I don't know what it is. I've written things that are long, that are long and have full paragraphs, and they miss everything. You do things in bite size, and it's great. Um, because this is a little bit older, what I'm gonna go do, um, just so you know, these things here that say assignment and length and due, all these little subheads here, I'm gonna bold them. Um, so that's another tip as you are designing, like you're designing to push it out, and then you'll probably come back to this again and say, oh, I really should tweak this and tweak that. Tweak for sure. Um, Let me also show you another thing that's kind of a best practice here. Um, this is actually something that is not part of Quality Matters, but something that I actually picked up as an adjunct. Go adjunct life. And I thought this was really important. I actually have here how long a particular step should take. And I go from the very like how long I think a student who is at the top tier, your typical A student, how long it's going to take them, to a student who is probably CD, how long it would possibly take them. And I do that so that way students can manage their time better. And I talk about this in the intro video that I do for every class. I tell them to look out for this so that way they can plan their lives a little better, plan their time management. It also helps me as an instructor if I'm looking at the time, say if I'm looking at the module overall, and I say, all right, so this is 15 minutes, this is 45 minutes, this is 30 minutes, um, this is the actual lesson, so 60 to 90 minutes, and that's with the voiceover and the sample and all the wonderful things. Then I start thinking, is there too much? Am I spending too much time on one thing? Is this module too long? Because I don't want to lose them. Do I need to take something out? Do I need to have something to keep going? What do I do? So I use that for me as well as for the students. Okay, all right. As you can tell, this is a little bit of a shell because I have a classroom link here that I have to insert. So there you go. So that's pretty much how it looks like. Let me switch here. And this is my 1301 6 weeks class. It says face to face, but it's not. This is my 1301 online course, which has a different feel to it. I still do the same things, how long the activities are going to take. I use things like Flipgrid here um, because it allows students to do the work of a discussion post and do videos. So let me go to Flipgrid and show you what that looks like. I know toys are a big deal. Again, do what feels good. Um, if you are a little bit more advanced or are clicking on this video to see what other cool things you can do, Flipgrid is something a friend of mine gave me. I actually did this for several classes, typically 1301. And of course, my noir writing class, which is my creative writing class, and they do this as well. So they can use school email, they could use any email, how you set this up, different ways. I use GIFs, but literally, um, I give them a video in the module, and then they go here. Actually, let me go back, give them instructions on how to use Flipgrid. Again, another resource from YouTube. YouTube is a huge, great resource. And then give them the link to go to this. And from here, they can see videos. And here's a bunch of different videos here. I'm not going to show you those, but there's different videos, and you can respond with a video. This actually, Flipgrid actually has a really great app. And actually, I have it on my phone and on my tablet. And you get an email as a professor every time a student does a Flipgrid. And it'll send you it doesn't send you a bunch of emails. It sends you one big email for the day. These are the students who turned in this assignment for the day, and these are the students who responded to this assignment for the day. And you can see who's actually been doing that. And as they are doing the assignment, you can actually respond with a video. And I've done that before, and they like it. They really like it. So another way to respond and be accessible to your students. And that's pretty much it. Um, and that's just how it all works here. Again, as you can see, I don't do um, I don't do uh, a list of steps. I actually tell them that their steps are in the module, so they have this particular one has 7 steps. Okay, they can do it just fine. They're really smart. And I have all these wonderful links. And I've designed it with a lot of videos and a lot of photos. I've made it very, very visual because online teaching is a very visual medium. And a, um, the best way to get these photos in is 2 wonderful websites. I like Pixabay, pixabay.com, which allows you to use images for free. It's royalty free stock. And then another website I like is unsplash.com, which gives you more images that you can use. So you can actually make it look nice. For example, like this, right? So that way it's more engaging for students. I hope that this is helpful for you guys, that you're able to maybe have gleaned some information and glean probably some tips and some things to do. Um, I can talk about grading online. I, of course, have tons of papers to grade as an English professor. I use Turnitin. Turnitin for us on the D2L side is actually attached. So when you go to assignments here, and again, let me stop by saying everything that the student does goes through content. I don't have them go through any of this stuff. They go to grades to see their grades, but they don't go to collaboration to go do their discussion posts. They don't go to course activities to turn in papers. Everything is through content. Everything's through the module. I need them that, for me personally, I like them going in one direction, so that way I don't have to do crazy things like, where are you seeing things? What's going on? If someone is turning in a paper late and I'm assigning it late, or they have to turn in something late and the module is closed, and usually for me, modules open and they close. Um, what I'm doing different this semester is that I'm opening modules and not closing them, because I want them to go back to lessons. And so I designed my courses this semester in that way. I'll let you know how that worked out this semester. So far, it's going really great. Um, but the assignments close in the module. So whenever I need them to go and turn in an assignment, I have them go through the top menu. But usually I don't take late papers, and that helps a lot too. But this is COVID campus. You may want to be a little bit lenient on that if you are not teaching online and you have to teach online suddenly. So let me show you how, for us, Turnitin is already integrated, as you can see here. So I click on Turnitin, and I have GradeMark. I have everything that I need here, and even more options to do things in Turnitin if I choose to, right? So I don't have to go to the Turnitin website. Everything is integrated here. However, what one of my colleagues does is that she does, this is of course for the creative writing professors, of which I'm almost kind of aiming this to, excuse me, is that she does critiquing or have students critique each other's papers through Turnitin, the actual site. And so our particular campus has a code if you want to use the site versus here. So you may want to check with your IT on your campus to see if that works for you. Um, if you're doing critique, I've done critique using Google Docs and showing students how to open those Google Docs and using the discussion boards to place the link so that students can go in through the link and then um, do the critique through Google Docs. Um, it takes a little finessing though. I'm not going to say it's 100% foolproof. It takes a little finessing, so have some patience with it. Um, and so I grade everything online or I grade everything through my tablet. I have no paper. I do not touch paper at all unless I'm making copies for them. But other than that, everything is online, everything is digital. I tell the students to, if they're writing on Word or if they're writing on Google Docs or whatever their word processing is, I tell them to save it as a PDF because it's a lot. Nothing moves. All the formatting stays, and then upload it um, onto D2L, and I grade it that way. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I know this ran a little long. It's super long, but I wanted to make sure I gave you as much information as possible. It is, when I first started, I did not know what I was doing. I know more what I'm doing. It helped to go through Quality Matters and understand kind of the rhyme and reason of certain things. And our campus got really, really good at teaching online. There's a couple of us who are pretty good at teaching online, and we help others. We help other professors as well, whether they're on our campus or not, because we believe that if the professor or the instructor is well armed and well trained, it just trickles to a better experience for the student. And that's what we're here for. So let me know if you guys have any questions, and good luck.